Like how I'm wearing a hoodie. I'm wearing a hoodie because my hair is crazy. Because I've been wearing headphones all day. Oh, you know what? I should just wear the headphones again. Oh no, it's worse. Whatever. I give up. I gotta invite people up here. All right. Invite to speak. Invite to speak. Invite to speak. My hair. I can't put my hair back under my headphones anymore because it's not long enough. I need to pull it back. Bald.
At least you got hair, man. Stop complaining. You got hair.
I started going bald when I was like 22. Finally just shaved it. I'm like, forget it.
Both my parents are like in their 70s now, and both have like full hair of heads.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. Genetics are just not, well, whatever. Never mind. Sorry about the dark mode again, guys. I'm literally driving again in Zurich, so I'll do a little drive and talk, but I hope it still works.
Oh, you're good. Anthony, you're here again. Do you want to, I don't know how long you have. Are you here for just the beginning half again?
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Okay.
No, just got like 15, 20 minutes. So just going to drop in and say what's up.
Okay. Is there anything over with QZeus or anything that you want to go over? I'll start out with.
Not really. Well, actually, yeah, I did some data analysis this morning, and from what I can tell, I think running, as long as you've got at least 2,500 in drawdown, you should be able to run one NQ with that and use it to pass an eval. Be aware you might blow the account if it gets 2 or 3 losses in a row, but that's really rare for QZeus. I think it will most of the time pass an eval. I would not turn on the martingale though. I just let it run one NQ contract. So that's what I came up with this morning, and that's how I would recommend passing one of those. You can pass it faster than MNQ, and then after that, turn it to micros and just let it do its thing.
Yeah. Don't do what I did and just go 10 contracts and just be done one trade. Try to. Yeah. What do you think the win rate would be if you turned it to 10 and you're just going for $3,500? Would it be like a 50-50, you think?
Overall, the win rate of it is 70%. So 7 out of 10 times, you'll probably pass your eval.
Yeah. But you would have to survive the drawdown though on 10 contracts. So it would have to go in your favor quickly.
Yeah. If it does the unrealized drawdown, then yeah. However they calculate it, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
But I will say most of the time, so I looked at the max drawdown during the trades, and most of the time the actual drawdown during the trade is pretty low. So yeah, give it a shot. Full port 10 contracts, see what happens.
Yeah, I've been running QZeus. I tested on like 1 second, 10 second, 15 second. Probably not what you're supposed to do. I know you're going to be mad at me, but yeah, I've been running all sorts of weird, funky settings, and yeah, full porting.
Any of them good? Anything interesting come up?
I want to. I need to get a full couple weeks of testing before. I have one that's kind of interesting, but I don't want to tell people to do it, and then everybody blow their account. So I want to get a couple weeks of testing in on it. I'm testing everyththing too, not just in Kia Gold and whatever. I love QSumo, by the way. Still, QSumo is still like one of my favorites on things that are more trendy, like gold. I've had a lot of success with QSumo still. So
yeah, they're two very different algorithms, and yeah, if you have something that likes to move in one direction for a significant period of time, QSumo is going to be the one to choose for it.
Yeah. Do you have that running on anything other than NQ?
At the moment, no. At the moment, I'm focusing entirely on getting the QZeus evals done and forward testing it and doing all the data analysis on it. That's what I'm just doing right now.
Awesome. All right, so let's go. I'm just going to go over kind of the profits and the wins channel, like we do every week. How do I switch over my camera? Yeah, and now there's an Anthony too. All right, perfect. So we have a lot of people in here running QZeus on the 5 minute. Some people running weird settings. Some people running it overnight, which I don't know what what you think about running it overnight, Anthony. No, maybe.
Uh, you know, people run things in ways that I didn't design them to run, and sometimes they find things that are really, really cool.
Right.
So, as long as you want to do it and you want to take the risk, I encourage it because I can learn things from people testing stuff. So, go for it.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm going to run it 9:35 to 12. That's what I do. But go for it.
We had past 2 weeks have been great on QZeus too. I think you posted the data on that, right? Or is this? Yeah, this is QZeus on 1 MNQ on 25.
Yes.
24 months.
Yeah.
So that's 10
The
days.
one MNQ.
Yeah, that's 10 winning days in a row. If you're doing that on 1 NQ contract, I mean
Yeah.
that's a 3,000. That's 3,000. No, I guess that's $6,000.
6,000. Yeah. Eventually, it's going to pass that account. I might turn it up just because I'm getting bored with it taking so long. But
I was waiting for you to get bored. I was wondering how long you'd do it with one MNQ.
I just wanted to see what it would do.
We have a couple people in here. I've been experimenting with like your like QZs and stuff and looking to see if there's any like thing I could do different manually controlling the trade and stuff to see if I could potentially beat it. And I didn't beat it. But I was taking the same entries. I was just trying to manage the trade myself. And yeah, I still it beat me. So there you go. I'm not too happy to admit that. But yeah, that's awesome. And it's really cool. I mean, especially what do you think about running it on accounts like let's go over like my funded futures, like where it's okay, so theoretically, if you wanted to turn it up and you just try to pass it in one day, right? Let's say $3,000, maybe you went in heavy like 4 or 5 contracts, right? Then you go down to just one NQ contract, and it's like all you need is 5 days until your payout. You know, um, do you think it's worth? Do you think that that potentially is worth the risk when it only costs a total of $85 on, or well, let's go with their new starter account, which is like 100 on the sale right now. You can get it for $80. So it's like then the first payout is 1,250. So it's like you could fail 10 times in a row with QZeus. Do you think that might be worth running to just get payouts or get your first payout quickly?
Yeah, because it's not going to fail 10 times in a row. My testing, so it wins 7 out of 10 trades, and the number of times that it had 2 losses in a row was something ridiculously low. I've actually got it right here. 2 losses in a row, 5% of the time. It actually has two losses in a row. And then 2% of the time, it has 3 losers in a row. In the last 3 years, it only had 4 twice. That was it. So, I mean, yeah, you could try it with that. I mean, I don't know. That comes down to just like doing the math and seeing how you can game the prop firms like that. I mean, I don't know. You just got to sit there and do the math on it. And it's probably worth it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's the kind of the name of the game sometimes too. At least that's an easier way to get your first easier way to probably get your first payout is I hate to say that, but it's like, DCAing, for example, like Keith, he DCA'd, all right. Eventually DCA, especially while you're in a trade and just averaging in, while the trade's going against you will work like 20. I think when I did the math like earlier this year, it was like 26 to 34 days in a row on average.
Mhm.
Until you had a trend day where it would never come back and you'd blow the account, right? But then there's things like fast track, right, where you have 5 days to payout. So, like for example, he got his payout the next week, the accounts blew up, right? That works to get payouts and be profitable with prop firm. But yeah, some prop firms, if you do it enough, you might get banned, you might get on probation, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But will it get you a couple $1,000s? Probably. So
Yeah, that separates the sim prop firms from the live ones, right? So all the ones
mhm.
that use sim, you can game them like that. That's why there was that big thing about how Blue Sky was changing their rules because people were trying to game them like that. Which,
Yeah.
if prop firms are going to let you do that, they're going to let you play that way, and you can get money. Go for it.
Yeah.
Post up how you're doing it. I guess I don't know.
I'm probably guilty of the Blue Sky thing too myself. I know I shouldn't be, but I'm probably like, I know my last like 2 live accounts with them, I got it live and I went like really heavy and I blew both of them up recently. And I was like, yeah, so
Yeah.
exactly what you said, like reason why they're changing the rules was like probably close to
Oh, come on,
I shouldn't have
Travis.
been
You
doing
made
it.
them
I did
change
it.
the rules.
Yeah. Speaking of rules changes, I know a lot of people here have different opinions about Apex. Um, I don't. I'm not going to give what I think about Apex here, but I am going to say that I did watch some of the interviews that Daryl did, the CEO. Some of the rule changes that they said that they were going to make. Some of them that they are now implementing as of today. If you saw the email, um, and that they said that they're going to allow people to there's new DCA rules within reason. I haven't read all the rules yet. But I know it seems like what I think happened, but probably is that they've lost a lot of customers because they swung. It's kind of like a pendulum. They swung too aggressively in this direction. Now they're trying to, probably bring more customers back. But the rule changes seem to be decent. This is actually uh, what they posted on Twitter, but we also got this in an email. But they are getting rid of the payout periods. So starting November, this 15th and 20th will be the last payout period. So no more payout periods. You'll be able to request as long as you have 8 days traded. And the rules, they say that they've updated the rules. This is what I haven't read through. They said that they're more transparent. So there's more in the interview. He talks about more clear black and white lines. Like this is against the rules. They're trying to. It sounds like they're trying to eliminate the gray area. Hopefully, we'll see this. And they say that we will be able to DCA again within risk management limitations. But yes, so I'll go over the rules. I'm going to read through them. I might do a video just to kind of update people on the QuantVue channel on the rules once I kind of get a better understanding of what's changed. But this is why it's like I kind of think competition's good for the space, right? Where it's like they're losing maybe market share to fast track right now, right? And they have to redesign the rules to make it attractive for traders again. And so it's I like the competition, the space right now, just because I think that it's going to be better for traders in the end. So yeah, I just thought that was something interesting that literally happened a couple earlier today. So
Yeah, no, I read that too. It's fascinating. I think you're right. They probably lost so many customers that they had to do something. That's probably
yeah,
what it was.
yeah. And I guess update on like what's also nice too is also seeing Blue Sky actually hear you out and actually change the rules to accommodate our automation as well.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that was pretty cool.
so
No, they did exactly what I asked for. So
yeah.
Hey, Anthony, I've
And
had some people ask what the payouts on winning days only is, and I didn't know. Are you able to elaborate on that, or is that too internal with their business development?
you mean why they did it?
Yeah, why they did it. You pay outs on winning days only. That's one of the rules. People ask me. I don't understand why it is. I couldn't answer.
So the way that they explained what was happening was people would get a live account and they would trade normally to get to like their first payout on it to like get paid back for the initial account and everything and make a little bit of money. And then they would just like full port shit. And they would make a whole bunch of money on YOLOs. And then once they lost one of the YOLOs, they would withdraw all the money and they would YOLO again and usually blow the account. So Blue Sky was losing a whole bunch of money. So what they're doing was one of the measures to keep people from doing that was that rule. It's kind of a weird rule, and I don't know if it's going to be effective or not. But the reasoning behind it was that the YOLOers would keep YOLOing until they lost, and then they would withdraw on the day that they lost. So it's just to make it more annoying for the people who are YOLOing, essentially, as I understand it. That was the thought process behind the rule.
Okay.
Which, yeah,
So
I don't know.
the DCA, one of the DCA strategies that I'm really was familiar with was the one that Apex was having a hard time with, was that people would DCA and continue DCA until they got to a day where they lost half of their portfolio or half of their gains, and then once that happened, they would withdraw everything. That was like a strategy that they were doing.
Yes,
and so that's probably something similar, I would think.
that's probably what was happening.
This goes into there's whole scripts and stuff right now. Did you get my DM about I know I messaged you a lot of stuff recently. The last one I sent you about the Alberta, what is it called? Albret, Diabret. I don't know how to say it. It's the betting system. It's the last message I sent you.
Yeah.
Have you looked at that one at all?
I have not. Dude, like I get a DM, and so this is like people get upset that I don't answer their DMs. Like I get a DM and I look at it real quick. Within 30 minutes, it's at the bottom of the list.
I know.
Like I try so hard to like catch DMs as they come in, but
no, I get it. I have my DMs pretty flooded as well. So
I'm sure yours get like that.
That one's an interesting one, and I would be curious on QZeus just because it's kind of like the martingale, but instead of going up 2 contracts or doubling every single time you lose a trade, you basically add a contract, only 1 contract, right? And then every single time you win a trade, you minus 1 contract. That's it. And so
interesting.
Until you go back down to 1, and then you stay at 1, right? And that's all interesting. But yeah, and it works really well. It works. It's supposed to work in a 50-50. It's Baccarat type strategy. But if you have any type of 10% edge, it's supposed to it works really, really well. And just kind of seeing how many trades in a row it loses versus how many trades in a row it wins, I was kind of like doing the numbers, and I might actually work out better than the martingale. Anyways, just potential idea.
I'll have to look into it. It's fascinating.
Yeah. So, and I think it'd be interesting because if it works out better or even similar, I think it's also a little bit potentially more prop friendly because you're not getting up to 16. You're probably only going to be able to get up to 5 contracts.
Yeah, because it'll only lose, like I say, it only lost 4 times in a row twice in the last 3 years. So it's pretty rare.
So just kind of a weird idea that I had that I wanted to put out there. Put you on the spot too by doing it on a call.
It's fine.
So I guess let's go over let's go over the NinjaTrader automation. And we'll go from there. Is Ice in here? Maybe he's not here right now. So let's not go over the Ninja Trader.
No, let's go
stuff.
over the Ninja Trader. Sorry, I redid
Okay,
my
no.
computer over the weekend, and I haven't set up my hotkeys yet for Discord.
I know you're fine.
Yeah, so from last week, I kind of tried to fine tune a little bit of the time periods that I was running some of the scripts. Some of them did better, some of them did quite a bit worse. So I'm going to let them run another week just because of some of the price action that we had last week. I want to continue running them. But I had a member send me his trade plan last Friday as well as his workspace. And the way that he wrote it out, it took me like an hour and a half to completely write his trade, how he trades. So we ran it today and it made a little bit over $500. It had one loss and like 6 wins. But it trades 4 M&Q contracts on an ATM strategy. It'll let one go at 80, another one at 120 ticks, and then the rest are runners with a 80 tick stop loss. And it works off of QGrid, QCloud, and Moneyball. So it skips the flip, and then as soon as if the price comes within 20 ticks of the step MA line, it'll set a condition, and then whenever you get the ad, it'll take its entry and go. I'm looking forward to watching it this week. Hopefully we get some different price action through the week so we can test it through different conditions, but we're pretty hopeful on it at least.
Cool. I something I know we were going over like kind of the P&Ls. I knew I wanted to find couple of the P&Ls and just show people. But Coffee Bean recently, he was getting some nice payouts last week. We actually had a couple different people getting payouts, but that was like $3,000. You know, we have I forgot how much Andy's payout is. Andy's been crushing it recently. He's had some pretty big payouts. Jay also in here. Jay's had some big payouts as well. I know he locked in like $7,000. If I scroll up, I'm sure I can find his stuff, but locked in like 7 grand on his Top Step accounts. So on this Top Step account, he's up like 4 grand on there, and but he got locked in some nice payouts. Actually, he fumbled one of them somehow. I forget how he fumbled one, and then had a request the next day because he was actively in a trade. You actually on Top Steps you can't be actively in a trade during the payout process. But yeah, there's his $3,000 in that account, 4,600, and again his charts are in the pro chart layout. How he trades is in the pro chart layout, and maybe I'll do a video with him where he kind of explains more so how he's trading, so you guys can kind of get a better idea of how he's actually getting these larger payouts. And I think that would be an interesting video to kind of watch. And here's his like kind of his P&Ls on his different accounts through last week. So he's up $8,000 here and already up $1,000 there. So yeah, I mean, he's been really crushing it on his Top Step accounts, and he switched to trading micros, y'all. That's somebody that's actively trading micros, you know, making a couple $1,000s a week right now. And so people get this idea that you have to trade the NQ contracts or the ES. It's like that's a great example of like, here's a member that's trading micros and able to pull out some really big profitable days as well. And yeah, I mean that's kind of it. I mean, I can talk a little bit about like the trading data and stuff. I'd be curious why we have Anthony here. Would be to I just have some questions that I think would be interesting to get your opinion on. Right? Do you think the ranges of days, like for example, how I judge sometimes my take profit levels, right, is 50% of the London session a lot of times, or 50% of the Asian session if Asian session was bigger, but usually it's not. But you know, so a lot of times when I'm looking for a move, right? One of the things that I look for is like, you know, okay, London session was say 100 and let's say 120 points, top to bottom, right? Range. So if I'm looking for like a bigger move on a 5 minute chart, I'm looking to see like, are we going to make, you know, go up half that range a lot of times. Do you find any correlation, or do you have any data that that shows that there's a correlation in the range of London to the U.S. session?
There, there are absolutely correlations in ranges. That particular question, I don't know, but I will find out. Actually, where's my? Where are my markers? Yes, I'll find out on that. That's actually a really good question. So I've correlated previous days. I've correlated. Where the devil are my dry erase markers? I've correlated previous days. I've correlated like pre-market with post-market, that sort of thing. Or excuse me, pre-market with regular session, that sort of stuff. I haven't correlated the London session to the Asian session though.
Interesting.
I'll do
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Where are my markers?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I like. If I pull up, here, uh, I'm gonna pull this up for y'all really quick. Um, and so like this is Asia session and this is London session, and kind of like one of the ideas that I've had recently is kind of like whenever I'm looking, this is something that I've done. And it's like, again, I don't have the data on this, right? But it's like I look at the 50% fib level of a Asian, right, or London. I look at that range, and I expect that range inside of the New York session, right? So this sounds weird. I mean, and maybe there's something here, but it's like, if, for example, if we go outside this range, the London range, right, and we close above it on a 5 minute, a lot of times, like I'm looking for, like I'll measure out, okay, that's 64 points, right? And I will be looking for a 64 point target up here. I know it seems strange, but it's like it's kind of like based off that range. If I see it turn against me and it closes, starts to close like down here, right, before it gets up there, I'll take my profits early, right? But this is kind of something that I've done, I don't know, for a while. But I recently kind of did a video on ranges. And what I'm using for the range right now is the session Fibonacci levels, right? And then I'm putting the sessions from 20 for Asian session, 20 so 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. right, and then I'm putting the London session from 3:30 to 9:30, and uh, there's a reason why I have this gap. Well, there's a theory I have about running it this way. Um, and but then I get these levels, and they play out really well. And you know, a lot of times where if we're coming down to, you know, today wasn't, I guess, ideal. Like sometimes like we'll come back down to the top of London, right, and bounce off, but that's not what we had today. But I do use it to potentially take to try to rough estimate where my targets should be, right? Or where, you know, I need to look for potential turning points. I know a lot of people do it off pivots and stuff, but that's something that I've just done. I don't know for how long now, but and I don't know if there's any actual data to support my theory, but I find that it works. So
Yeah, I'll check it out. I most likely there's not going to be a correlation there because they're being traded from primarily from traders in different places.
yeah,
I doubt there will be. I'll check it out though. I've got a note to look.
Yeah.
I got to roll though.
Yeah.
So it was good talking with you guys. I will catch you guys later.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye, Anthony.
Let's just go ahead and answer questions really quick. I know there was a question that I got in DMs. I'm going to switch to my face so I don't show the DM. I don't know if there's anything personal in it. But they said they just messaged me, so I'm assuming they're on the call right now. say, I watch your training videos. I love them. Wanting deeper dive into your strategies, and how, for example, for the commercial, are you scalping to trend? Um, I guess I'm going to go over that, I guess, really quickly. Um, One, it's going to depend on what strategy you're talking about, right? I have a couple of different charts that I've made and I put in the pro lounge area. But like, I mean, the OG's strat, right, is Q Pro, right? This is the OG strat. Like, this is a strat that, the first time me making money with QuantVue was with this Q Pro and with these settings and changing the deviation bands to 5. I'm using a 4-box Rinko. Oh no, sorry, deviation to 5.5. Right, I'm using a 4-box Rinko, and it's on NQ. And a lot of times I was just looking to scalp these midline bounces on an uptrend. So it's like, when you identify like a channel, right? So like let's identify like that channel, right? And then you identify, especially even like a lower channel like that, right? Like, now it's like I can trade within this channel, right? But it's like, if I'm taking a long, I don't want to take a long up here near this band. It's like I want to take a long once it touches that mid band, right? And so this is like that midline bounce scalping strategy, right? Um, but then you have things like this where where you come through, you could try to take this, right, and it fail on you, and then we flush to all the way to the lower band though. And so this gets into, do you flip that? Do you try to short it? And this is where it's like, I think it's helpful to use other charts as confluences, right? One of the big, I mean, even if you just had the 1 minute chart up as a confluence, right? One of the big things that I look for, um, when we're coming down like that, right, to see if that we're potentially going to come, is like, our find support. Let's see what time that was. So that would have probably, it could have been a losing trade. Let's see. This was, let's just say that's 10:05. So if I go to the 1 minute chart at 10:05, this is right here, right? That's a midline bounce, we're also on the 9 moving average. I would I would be hesitant on taking this. The only reason why is because we just made like a 100-point run up, right, over 30 minutes, right? And so I would be expecting a pullback. And a lot of times when we were pulling back, we pull back to the 9 moving average. And so I might not have taken that trade, but I might have taken these first two bounces right off that Rinko chart. Even if you would have taken this and you lost, like, you should be. When you're trading off Rinko, I would say always aim for 2 for 1, two for 1, right? Uh, so you want your stop to be, I don't know, let's say 10 points, and like you want to be aiming for 20 points, right? That's an ideal setup, because now, right, you win, you lose, right, and you're still up 3 times, 3 times your loss, right? I mean, so, um, with that one loss, right? And then the other thing is the outside band scalps. You could technically try to short this. I would not ever short all-time highs. We're making all-time highs on ES right now. Don't short all-time highs. It's hard to do. I try never to do it unless there's a reason, unless we're on a pivot point and you think that potentially will go down, but you need to keep that stop very tight. And the big confluence chart is always, for me, has been the footprint chart. I've gone over this in other videos, but like today, when we came back down, right? Uh, like, look at that beautiful bounce we had, right here. Like, that's a crazy beautiful bounce at 10:17, right? 10:17 on the Rinko was right here. We're on the lower band, right? So now we're on the lower band. We have this bullish my mind's going blank, stacked and balance here, right? And look what happens. Part of the stack and balance gets taken out, right? So a lot of those buyers were absorbed. What happens the next time we came through? We went through it. So, keep this in mind, and it's always use other confluences. If we go to the 1 minute too, at 1:17, Nothing's there. 117. We kind of have this pivot point on the 2-minute chart, right? Um, that we kind of wicked into. We also have these wicks right here on the 2-minute chart. So it's like, I mean, it could have been some type of support looking in this zone. Honestly, when we're coming back down to this pivot though, I'd be looking for, is there a support level there? And then I would be looking at the footprint chart for confluence, right? And the same thing here. Look at this level right here on the footprint chart, the stacked and balanced, right? Look at that right there, all the way at 11, right? And we had this nice rip of this next one. I would not take. I would be very careful taking this, right? Just because we touched that single stacked and balance once, be very, very careful. The other thing too was that this level right here is that 600 level, right? This first stacked and balance. 600 level just seems like it wants to be supported. We saw this we saw this. Are my levels correct right now? I think we saw this earlier, but that 600 level I think has been a level in the past that wanted to be supported as well. But you can kind of see that 600 level how it plays out over here as well. This same stacked and balance, if you actually like kind of charted that level out, right? If we went like that, went like that, went like that, you can kind of see how this level ends up being this level of you know, um, high, level of support and resistance on both sides just throughout today. And you can even see that all the way there. So, yeah, so the thing with scalping, I think, is being patient, right? Scalping in the direction of the trend sometimes, unless you have a reason to trade opposite, right? Um, and looking for multiple confluences, right? Could you just trade off of this chart and be profitable today, right? Potentially, yes. But it's always about using those other confluences. Like this trade here, right here, this lower bounce here. I don't think I would have taken this just off of this chart alone, right? If I didn't know that buyers are sitting here, right, from the footprint chart, I see no reason to take this other than that pivot level too. But with the pivot level, with the footprint chart being in the bottom of the bands, that's like multiple confirmations. I'm going to take it. And the other thing too is that when you're trading prop, right? Once you have 2 or 3 or 4 good trades, like call it. You don't need to trade all day, right? The sooner you can stop trading, I think, the better, right? Like if you can get to 11 and be done, right? And you're up $400, perfect. Like get out, stop, I can't stress that enough. Like I see people all the time posting P&Ls or sharing P&Ls with me where they're up like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, right? And then couple minutes in, right? Or they'll trade all the way till noon and past noon, and sometime between like noon and 2 p.m. they lose everything, right? Or lose half what they gained that morning, right? You live to trade another day, always, always. So some people should limit their trades too, right? I tell people that if you're having a hard time, you're just scalping a lot, and you're just you're taking a lot of trades. Maybe you need to limit yourself to 2 trades a day for the next month and kind of train yourself. How am I going to look for those better setups, right? Yeah, like technically, if I'm trying to pass like an eval or trying to get a payout fast or something, right? Like yes, like I could trade off the 50 moving average there. I could wait for this little dip, try to trade off the 9, right? And then if we continue down, I'm going to add on the 21. And then if we continue to add or continue down, I'm going to maybe add. I probably wouldn't add. I'd probably just close it after if the 21 didn't hold. But then I could wait for this 9 touch and then add there as well. And then wait for this 9 touch and add, and then like it not fail. And then I could flip the position, and like I can scalp like, in and out all day long, right? If you really want to be wild, like I can go down to a 15-second chart and scalp all day, but it first off, that doesn't equal more profit all the time. Usually it does the opposite. So try to be very careful and limited with your trades. And I love the 5-minute chart, man. 5-minute chart is still like one of my favorites. You know, um, you know, I love seeing like the overall trends and where we're going when those trends are broken on the 5-minute, right? So like this trend upwards, right? Like that, right? When do we actually close underneath it? Could I potentially take a short? Where I'm going to take the short to? I'm going to take it to the 8 moving average. I would not think that would come that low, right? Um, there's stuff like this, like it's very, but you can see on the 5-minute chart, right? This is easy to trade. This is kind of easy to trade. This is easy to trade. This is not easy to trade. Like all this crap chop here, like on a 5-minute, like this is horrible. You see what I'm saying? So it's like know when to trade, when not to trade, right? I don't like trading choppy areas like this, like especially if you've already made money in the beginning of the day. I need another question.
There's a question in the chat, Travis. Go up a bit. There's some there.
Yeah, I'm going to get to them. Okay. Let's see. Kev, I answered your question. I think I did. So new to automation. How do you use QSumo? Manual setting. Okay, so QSumo, I'm not a great on this. Probably the best scenario. Just going to go with the default settings for now, right? Default settings. Using it. We'll go watch the video that Anthony did on QSumo and his box size and what he's using, right? That's the ideal way to use QSumo, running it in those time frames. This is what he built it out for. I've been testing it on gold different times. I have failed accounts. I have passed accounts. I have been running a lot of it on demo. And so I'm uh, not ready to share all those or a bunch of settings just yet, just because um, it's still something that I'm working on. But the one setup for it that for sure works is that, or in maybe any other ones. The nice thing about QSumo is that it's trading with the trend, right? So as long as there's some type of trend, it gets chopped up in chop days sometimes, but it has filters to kind of help you avoid that. And different assets just kind of act differently. Let's see, DCA. What is DCA? Dollar cost averaging. So adding into a trade as the trade's going against you. Well, that's whatever. Uh, It's the way that Apex defines DCA, and a lot of the prop firms are defining DCA. I don't want to get the technical definition of DCA is different than what they're claiming DCA is, though. But whatever. I'm not even going to go there. Um, yeah, fast track is definitely applying the pressure. So based on the QZU stats, uh, uh, the day after it takes losses, load up the next day. Pretty much, yeah. That's actually kind of a funny point. Some people wonder when to start automation. If you guys have automation, right? Like on Q Zeus, a lot of times, yeah. If it takes a losing day, statistically speaking, less likely that the next day is going to be a losing day. So it's a great day to start. Or if you have 4 days, 4 losing days in a row, it's a great then then the next day is going, or I think maybe it's only 3 losing days in a row because I think it's 4 losses in a row, and I think 2 of those losses happen the same day. So I think it's only 3 losing days in a row. So after it takes those 3 losing days, yeah, it's like it's kind of a great point or process to buy the accounts. I've done that before. I've done exactly that before. Waited for a big drawdown and then added to a script. Um, Ice is working. Ice is working now, I think. Yeah, I haven't fully tried out the Q Ice. I haven't done a lot of testing with the Q Ice myself just yet. I have in gold and failed with it, running it during London session. So don't do that. Does one of the indicators show when it's chop versus trending? So there's several indicators that shows chop versus not chop. I mean, probably the most notable one is the ADX filter. And this is actually what is built into some of the scripts that we have. But the ADX filter, I would say use ADX and DI. or you could just, let's just look at the ADX for example. Um, the ADX is one of those uh, really fantastic indicators. I don't even know if I'm sharing my screen. I am. Okay. So ADX is average directional index. Um, and so you have a filter. So you have you have a moving period, right? And you can make this whatever. You can change the DI links and different charts and different time frames. You do different links, right? But the idea is that you want to. A lot of people don't know how to use this. They're just like, there's a squiggly line on my screen, right? So one of the ways you can use it is by drawing a horizontal line on it like that, right? And let's just say we only want to take trades when we're above 20, right? So you can see right here, I'm at 20.10 now, right? And so I'm only looking to take trades when it's above 20. But let's go even further. Let's say I only want to take trades when it's above 30 on a 5-minute chart, right? So now when I zoom into to today, why we're going long, right? Well, I'm not going to enter into this long until here, right? So it's filtering out a lot of these smaller moves pre-market, right? And now I'm looking to potentially take the trade. But you can see as we start to get into this chop in this afternoon session, right, at 11:45, you can see that how flat the ADX becomes, right? So this is kind of one way of using the ADX, and we can kind of go back and like, uh, uh, look at potentially really kind of like a choppy day. Uh, here's a kind of a choppy morning. So you can see this morning how there was a lot of chop. Like this is 9:30, right here. No, this is 9:30 right here. But you can see that we had news at 10, so we didn't get any movement until 10. But look at this, like we don't, or we probably had news at 11 even, whatever, I don't remember. But you can see how the ADX is very low, right? We don't even start pushing in the average the ADX until about 10:25, and it doesn't tell you to potentially hop in if we placing this at 30 until this big green candle, right? Oh, right after that green candle, about 2 candles up. But again, there's actually some interesting ideas with the ADX, like depending on one of the ideas that I've had is adjusting it for different days, even in a range from 20 to 30, right? Just based on like news, if I think the day is going to be volatile or not, was London session volatile, stuff like that. Again, I don't have data for a lot of this stuff. I have not ran data. I'm just kind of like doing, I see a pattern and I kind of execute it the way I think it should be executed a lot of times. And so it's nice having Anthony be able to actually put data to kind of some of the things that I think potentially. But yeah, I mean, let's just say you had your ADX line at 30, on a day like, or lower, like 20, right? Because we're chopping because we're going into news. You can see we've actually get that lift right about here now, right? Um, but just because we're here doesn't mean you should just jump in a trade, right? I'm still want to look for a pullback, maybe to this 9 moving average before we're jumping in, something like that. But the ADX is probably one of the best filters, I think, to avoid chop. That's relatively simple to play with and get an idea. There's other people that you can watch videos on. If you look it up on YouTube and get an idea of how you can use the ADX in your trading to filter out choppy zones, right? And yeah, so that's probably one of the better filters I I think. Very, I at least I think it's pretty reliable. It's something that I've used, off and on for a very long time. And there's even more stuff you can do to it too. I should probably point out, like you can create a top and bottom technically. So some people even limit. So if the ADX is say over 40, right? They're not going to enter a trade as well, right? So then now they're only taking trades while it's in this zone. And the reason why is a lot of times because if let's just say over 50, right? Let's do an extreme. Let's say over 50. If we pop over 50, the chances of it it kind of continuing up is very unlikely, right? So you can kind of see how the like once we're over 50, definitely I wouldn't be taking a trade until we come or potentially if I'm looking for a short, I'm looking for it to come back into this range, and us losing momentum. Um, and so what this can help you though too. Let's not look at London session, but what this can help you with too, right, like right here, is staying out of a bad trade. Like if you're trying to short this and it's coming down against you, right? Uh, why are you going short it here when the average directional index is kind of peaking out? If that makes any sense, right? We're probably expecting some type of a pullbacks at some point, right? So it kind of keeps you out of bad moves if you do it that way as well. The exception to this is like if you get a trend day that just like keeps on tanking, you know what I mean? Like it might not be the best, but again, like if we could just go back on like any day, like you can kind of see, we had this whole move down, right? And right before we start flattening it out, though, right here, you can see how the ADX is already starting to curve over, and we're above that 50. So, kind of keep you out of a potential bad trade would be the idea. Yeah. So I like the average or the ADX. ADX is a great indicator. Again, something that's already baked into a lot of our the scripts and stuff that we have, um, inside of without sharing too many secrets. I don't think it's a secret that it's not a secret that the ADX is a part of some of the scripts. Where we've said it in videos. I don't maybe some people didn't know what the ADX was though. Um, but yeah, it's still great. It's a great thing to keep you out of shop. Um, um, is there a way to plug in ATS to Quant Tower and Rhythmic for fast track? No, not as of right now. Um, mm, okay. The workaround right now would be to to get a My Funded Futures account, get uh Replicanto, set up Replicanto, and you can copy trade from Replicanto. Okay, so yeah. So you get a Trade of 8 account on My Funded Futures, right? You can then trade that account and you can copy that to your Replicanto inside through NinjaTrader, but it's trading on Trade of 8, and you can copy trade that as your lead account inside of NinjaTrader to any Rhythmic account. So there is a workaround, kind of. It's kind of a pain. Um, but you could do it that way theoretically. Yeah. So you basically need a leader account. Yeah, exactly. You need a leader account that is a Trade of 8 account, um, on one that works with Replicanto. So, like for example, for example, Blue Sky works with Replicanto. However, Blue Sky Live does not work with Replicanto because it's a live account. So stuff like that, you kind of it's kind of annoying, but yeah. So technically, you could do it that way. Um, and I mean, you could also probably do it with Apex Asian. Let's just say, um, let's just say like you don't care about your Apex accounts, right? Hypothetically, and you wanted to copy it to fast track, you could get like a $35 eval, set that up on one micro, right? And then have their fast through Replicanto, set it up where that's trading one real NQ. So that way you never have to worry about that, your leader account blowing up. Um, yeah, that would be probably a safer way of doing that too. Because you don't want, My Funded Futures has that $1,000 limitation on their starter account. So that's something that you just don't want to run into. Um, if I want to plug in the strategy on Top Steps X, I guess I need TradingView account and plug it in manually. Fran, if you're talking about the automation stuff, you can do the automation stuff through uh through the ATS client, if you have the ATS client. Um, if you look up on our YouTube channel the ATS client video stuff, you will see it. Um, and if you have questions, I can link you. If you go to our website, QuantVue.io, look at the ATS section, you can read about it. If you're new to trading, and this is kind of what I say too, is like if you're new to trading, have no idea, I've never opened up a brokerage, probably don't start with the ATS stuff just because it's like it's a whole new world and like you don't know exactly what you're getting yourself into yet. You're not familiar with TradingView. It is a process to get it set up and make sure that you do it. So, it's like I always say like, manually trade first, and then if you are profitable manual trading, then potentially use your profits to get the ATS client. Or you could jump in the ATS client right away. I mean, it's kind of up to you. Um, I think the biggest thing if you go the ATS route is run strategies that are provided by Anthony without changing the settings. Like just use Q Chronos and the time frame that he's telling you all to use it, and you will make money from it. You know what I mean? Well, I shouldn't say you will 100% make money, but it has been shown to be profitable. I want to tell people I don't want to get in trouble. um yeah. All right. Let's see if there's any more questions. This is weird when nobody else is talking. I feel like I'm just talking to myself now. Um, how long before ATS migrates off of TradingView? We do not know yet. And Fran, I love that you have a Southport profile, by the way. Um, how long? How long? Yeah, we're not. I'm not sure about that. That's not a question for me. That's a question for Anthony. He's already gone. Um, a lot of testing, a lot of stuff is in the background right now. I've been working on kind of like a more in-depth like trading course right now for people, um, and I've been doing that for a while. Been back and forth and just trying to cram in everything without like overloading people in it right now. So we have a lot of things in the works at QuantVue. Um, I think that's it. I mean, I think
Travis, there was a
uh,
question above. Marty asked any updates on the ATS roadmap, and then somebody asked when is QIs coming out. And I think these all kind of go in the same direction. Anthony will publish once he knows and wants to communicate those things.
yeah.
There's if he doesn't publish a new roadmap, it's probably because it's not ready. If he doesn't release QIs, it's because he's still improving it. And if he doesn't publish whatever he's doing to replace TradingView, it's because it's simply not there yet. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Travis probably doesn't know, and Anthony will tell us as soon as he's ready. So experience
Yeah.
tells us you can't speed up Anthony if you don't want to, because once it's finished, whatever he's doing, he'll kick ass.
Yeah, I am curious on how many people you Grid Elite. I know a couple of people have QIce in beta right now. Um and it's hard for me to answer questions because like for example, like I'm testing some of these things. So I have access to some of them, right? That are I have access to things that aren't completed yet. So I don't know when things are officially coming out, but things are constantly being tested and improved. And there are some people in the either ATS client chat or in the elite chat that have access to ICE right now. So there are some. I know Anthony last week said that there were some small improvements that he wanted to make to the profit of QIce. And so hopefully we'll have QIce here soon. It's definitely QIce is really interesting. And uh, do I have a version of it on my screen right now? Hold on. Let me turn off because I don't want to show something that I'm not supposed to. Um, gosh, I have QIce here. I'll show y'all. Well, I have point. I have a a very early version of it actually here. Um, but this is on a 4-box Renko. It might be better running it on a 2-box, I think. But like you can see today how it does, but what it does is right now it's looking for pullbacks to exit the position, right? So we had this big move and it's getting out on the pullback, right? It's never it has no take profit basically right now, so it's just exiting once we have a little bit of a pullback from a move, right? And so that's one of the things that you know, when Anthony says that he can improve the profit probably or the targets, right? This is what he means, like where it's like we can you know, instead of having the partial profit on the pullback, probably have the partial profit here, right? And so it's still very good. This is kind of the early look of it, and I like how right now it's like we can change all the Q line settings and stuff too. There are different modified versions of this that I've been testing. Um, but this is what it looks like, and it's just looking for number of confluences for entries and exits, and you can set the number of confluences on these conditions down here for a profitable take. Uh Partial take profit. Sorry. um but yeah, I mean it looks really good. um I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it does, especially once it's wrapped up. I've been testing it off and on during London session just because that's when I had a slot available. And the way that I'm back testing and forward testing stuff, I was able to kind of fit into a London session thing to kind of test it. And it's been okay. It hasn't been great on London session. Again, it's probably not made for London session though. So, but I've also been tweaking for the London session. I've been tweaking all these settings as well. So, um, yeah, so that's something that is going to be coming sometime soon. Let's see. But yeah, just pay attention to Anthony's roadmap for that. I think that's it. It's 5:02. My dog is outside. I can hear him trying to scratch to come in now. So that's it for this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. And if you have more questions, just at me in the Discord channel. I'll try to get to them. And I'm going to get some food, grab a drink, and watch the Apex rules and go over the rules and potentially make a video later tonight talking about the rules. And hopefully it's a good thing. That's what I'm hoping. Anyways, that's it. Peace.